another podcast. I hope everyone's week has been okay. I've had quite a busy week myself with work and stuff like that. So I hope everyone else's week hasn't been too stressful. Obviously, tonight we have Jamie King from Achilles, who is waiting as we speak. He is on tonight, obviously, to discuss what his plans are going to be with Achilles. Obviously, his history with Achilles as well. Talk a little bit about the club. Obviously, looking at his 1 to 11 as well, which, from what we spoke about during the week, has been quite difficult. And I think it is quite difficult for people doing the old 1 to 11s. You don't really want to upset anyone. Just a few quick things. I just want to thank everyone who's been listening. I'd like to thank everyone that has made some comments. Also, the support. A lot of people have been talking to me about it. It's been quite difficult, obviously, where there's been no fixtures or results or anything to talk about. It's been quite difficult to kind of still go ahead with it, but obviously the support that I've got through my friends, family, and you guys as well has been really, really good. So I'd like to thank you for that. Thank you for listening on Spotify, also on here on Podbean. Thank you for looking at watching the videos on YouTube. I know YouTube hasn't been great at the moment, but that's something that I'm always trying to tweak and do. My main thing is the actual podcast, to be honest. That's my main thing that I'm doing, but there's going to be little things in there and a few extra things that people can go on and watch and hopefully enjoy. Unfortunately, this is a little bit that I don't really like doing. This bit is obviously, I know people may have heard during the week coming out of Bacton. Simon Borley, unfortunately, passed away. I'm just going to read out a statement that Bacton had put out. It is with much sadness and regret that we have to let you know that today we say goodbye to one of the legends of our club. Simon Borley played over 500 games for Bacton, whilst also undertaking the club's secretarial duties, which he did with such pride and determination, which came across whenever you spoke to him. His passion for football and Bacton was unrivaled, and we're all devastated at this loss. Our deepest sympathies and condolences go to his wife Rachel and his 2 boys and all his family and friends who knew and loved him. R.I.P. Simon. It's always devastating for someone that's obviously so passionate about football and about the club when they lose someone like that. And obviously, from myself, I send my condolences out to the club and to his wife and to his family as well, and especially his 2 boys. It looks like he's very, very dedicated to the club. So obviously, send my condolences out to him. Also, during the week, we found out. I know it's a level up, but I will mention it from Ipswich Wanderers. Sadly, we have recently learned of the passing of former Wanderers player Aziz, aka Haz. Haz was a very popular player, formed a part of the 2013 Senior Cup winning side. His funeral was during the week, so it's just got RIP Haz. Very unfortunate, once again, so young, and it's always upsetting when we hear of someone like that, especially that's played in the local area. And once again, condolences out to Ipswich Wanderers and also to Haz's family. Now going on to something that I spoke about last week, trying to support local businesses. Myself, I own a business myself. which is DK9 Security, which I do. I sponsor the Super Six for the non-league show, and I think it's been quite hard for local businesses at the moment, and it's quite difficult because you are struggling and you're not struggling. So to kind of help out, what I'm going to do is each month I'm going to be doing up to 4 businesses, and I will be doing free advertising. So this week, only got 3 at the moment. So I'm going to go through the 3. The first we've got is JW94, who I spoke about last week. And if you want to know anything about this company is offering, it's going to be launched, I believe, in March, so next month. The company to launch late March will be top quality anti-slip grip socks at first, and we'll be looking to do shin pads, base layers, and other football equipment that will launch in the summer. I don't know if you've seen, but if you actually go onto their Twitter, they've just released news of the ambassadors that they've got. And I believe Mr. Gherkin, who used to, if I'm right, he used to play for Town. Yep. Buzzing to announce the 3rd ambassador, Culture United #1, Dean Gherkin. Dean has made up 350 professional appearances and agreed to become the latest ambassador of the brand. So they're doing really, really well there. If you want to get in touch with them, if you go on to Twitter and type in JW94, or even if you wanted to speak to Joel Windsor, if you go onto Twitter and speak to him, we'll be able to give you a little bit more information about that. The second company is Sidekicks of Sports UK. Sidekick do a lot of stuff in and around the community for sports. Obviously, with everything being on lockdown at the moment, it's been quite difficult for them. So, Sidekick for Sports formed in 2020. Patent pending, sports innovations, sports apparel, and accessories. Your aim is our aim. If you want to get in touch with them, if you email stu@sidekicksports.co.uk, I'll put that in the link in the description for the YouTube channel. And if anyone wanted to know any more information, if you go onto Twitter and type in Sidekick Sports UK, the information will be there. So if you speak to them, they'll be able to help you out. Even some stuff for next season that you may be looking for, have a chat with them. The other one that we have, if you bear with me 2 seconds, I'll just get those details up, is the company is called Education Through Sports, ETS. I will give you the description now. We deliver PE and curricular activities in primary schools around Suffolk. We also upskill school staff to teach PE, and we coach schools, sports teams for competitions. In the school holidays, we run sports camps for children that run all day. We also work with a few local grassroots teams. Coaching, running, they're 4 to 7-year-olds age groups, and we all have one-to-one football clients that we work with. Obviously, due to COVID at the moment, it hasn't been able to happen. But obviously, once we start getting the one-to-ones back, obviously these would be the people that you'd be really wanting to talk to. So at the moment, we're doing Zoom fitness every day and working with key worker children in schools. So that's good. You can find us on all social medias, best to contact Facebook, Education Through Sports, or email, which is educationthroughsports@outlook.com. So if you're interested in that, give them a shout. If you're also interested in obviously having the free advertising. If you give me a DM or give me a shout, I'm more than happy to do it. I want to give back a little bit here. We're all kind of in the same boat at the moment. I know what it is as a small business owner myself. So if I can help as much as possible, I will. Hopefully that will help out. Obviously, when you speak to these guys, let them know that I've mentioned them. It'd be nice to obviously know if I've helped out or not. So all the links that I've got for these, I will put in the description on the YouTube channel. So if you want to pop over there and have a look. Also, while I'm talking about the YouTube channel, go and pop and have a look at the little videos that I've got over there. They're just kind of short bits of what I talk about on a Friday night. So pop over, have a look, a little bit less of me. And I'll try and do a little bit of a few funny things in there as well. So pop over, having a look, have a like, have a share. Share it to as many people as you want. That'd be great. So, as I said before, tonight we have Jamie King on. I'm going to look at bringing him in now. There may be a bit of a delay. So once you do start hearing me, Jamie, if you
all right, mate.
If you want to let us know how you're doing, how you've been, and kind of what you've been up to, mate.
Well, same as most people. Lockdown and that's just still a bit strange, to be honest with you, mate. I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones that can continue working. So in that respect, quite lucky. But then, like I say, the weekends, they just drift into one, really. Whereas before you look forward to the weekend, you're like,
it's one of those where it's like even if you're not involved in football, it's like you used to like get to the weekend and go, yes, I got the weekend off, I can go and have a drink, go see my mates and stuff like that. And it's now you get to the weekend, you're like, oh, I actually can't wait till Monday till I go back to work and I'm doing something.
Pretty much.
As I say, it must be quite strange for yourself, because it was like obviously we found out that Dean had left Achilles, and then we found out that you'd been appointed, and then this all happened. So you I don't know. It's been, in some ways, it might have probably was a bit of a blessing, because it's given you a little bit more time to prepare than what you did have. But it has been quite a strange old thing for you, really, to be honest.
Oh, mate, so obviously, me and Sean got appointed, and then obviously there were games in December. We were one of the clubs that decided not to play. Basically we put it to the squads of both teams. Most of the reserve boys, for various reasons, and that didn't feel comfortable playing. So, we went to the league, said, we can field one team, first team each week, reserves, obviously because of the situation. Can we do that? They said no. So we then had to make a decision as a club just not to play in December. So
it's one of those ones, until you know what's actually going on behind the scenes, it's quite difficult, because I know we had a chat during the week about it, and it's so difficult. It's so hard for teams to, because if the reserves hadn't played games, the club would have lost a lot of money.
Oh, they'd get, no doubt, got a fine each week, and then obviously point deduction and everything like that, and you just can't do it.
No. So as a club, obviously you've had to make that decision, and financially it's the right decision to do it. And it's that's the thing. And I think a lot of this, where people don't kind of realise that financially, people are having to make decisions. Obviously, 39 clubs have been kind of dug out for it and stuff like that. But I would rather Achilles stay in the league because they can afford to stay in the league and then not play a few games, than completely come out of the league because they can't afford to run two teams.
Well, the thing is as well, we were so far ahead on games. All
Yeah.
that did was give everyone else a chance to catch up anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those
all
ones
it's
you're
done
like,
is brought at kind of level game wise
yeah.
with most of the other clubs apart from a few. So
so that's kind of the now of Achilles. Give us
mm-hmm.
your history with Achilles, because I know you've been a part of it for quite a while, whether it's been involved with the first team, the reserves, or the youth section side of it. So tell us your involvement with Achilles over the years.
I'm trying to think. It must be early 2000s, 2000 maybe. When I first started going to Achilles, is how it all started. So basically how it worked, the reserves manager at that time, Julian Payne, took over, and me and all my mates were basically playing for a Sunday team, Charlton Grasshoppers.
Yeah.
And we used to go down to Belstead afterwards on a Sunday and, mix with the, Belstead Arms football team, all stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they literally come down and said, right, I'm reserve team manager, I want every single one of you to sign on. We were like 18, 19, 20 at the time. We were like, yeah, all right. And that's literally how I got involved with Achilles, is basically because my mates went. Now, I never signed on. I always went and just watched that. I was more enjoying the social side. Plus, if I'm being brutally honest, probably wasn't good enough to get in that team. So
there is a difference between Sundays and Saturdays.
just a bit. And but I used to go every Saturday, go with me mates, get picked up, and I'd go in the dressing room and everything, enjoy the crack with the boys and stuff like that, and then watch the game. And then that went on, and then just literally over time, I then got asked by Alan Middle, who was the first team manager, years down the line. Oh, do you fancy, as you're coming, you might as well just, do a little bit in the change room, just like water bottles, first aid, that. Yeah, all right, And then it just literally just kept progressing from there. Then, reserve team, assistant manager with Alfie Cook, did that, run the reserves for a year, well, half a season to a season, while that was in a bit of trouble. Done that, and then Luke come on board and I was his assistant. And then I left and Andy Coote took my role. I kind of decided to take a step back. So I was then doing some youth football as well.
Yeah.
And it was just getting a little bit too much. Then kind of got, how can I put this? Kind of got voted in as vice chairman. Majority rules.
That's always good. It's always good that you turn around and say kind of got voted in. That's like, was you kind of asked them as like, oh, I don't really know, but that's always a good thing that a club would like. When something like that happens, it's good that the club trusts you enough to be able to be able to go and do that role.
I went to the AGM. They said, we come to the AGM, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, no problems. So I went there and we were all sitting there and they said, oh, we haven't had a vice chairman for years. And that was when Luke was back for his second stint and he went, well, I think Keane should do it. And I went, what? He went, yeah. And then next thing you know, everyone there, yeah. So if we put it to the vote, and I was like, what? There was one person vote against it, me. And then I was like, well, all right, well, no, I'll do it. But then literally did that up until this season. And like I say, the plan was to really take a proper step back because they're now under 12 team was then obviously this season is their first season of competitive football. So I thought, I'll concentrate on that a little bit. So I took a step back from that. And then obviously Dean left. Yeah. And me and Sean, I spoke to Sean and we just applied and were kind of lucky enough to get the job.
So you, when you obviously got told, right, you've got the job, was there anything that the club was expecting from you? Because obviously because of the position at the club, well, not the position at the club, is it? The position that the first team was in at present and before. Was there, does the club come to you and turn around and say, right, obviously the first thing you're going to be looking at is staying up and staying in the league.
Yeah.
Have they come to you and asked for like a 1 year plan, 2 year plan, 3 year plan, or are they just solely concentrating, like what I think a lot of clubs are at the moment, just on kind of surviving a little bit?
To be fair to Dave Morgan, the chairman, and the committee and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, there are expectations, but the situation we're in, I think that was more about coming in. Let's try and get ourselves out of the position we're in, steady the ship, and then just reassess it from when the season ends at the beginning of next season. Right, let's look at what we've got. What can we do from here? Obviously, we've got the youth system in place now. That's been going for. It's still relatively young. It's only like 3 years old, maybe coming up for 4 years old now.
Yeah.
The youth system, and that was basically created by the Grimwoods. So Dave, Lee, his brother, and that all came about. Obviously, Achilles never had a youth system. And what initially started out was a little bit of training by Dave with some 4 to 7 year olds, and it's just snowballed from there. And we've now got under 12s, 11s, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, 2 girls teams, what we call mini A's, which is for the 4 to 7 year olds. And it's just grown so quick in literally like 3 years. Obviously, we're not going to see any benefit of that for at least another 4 or 5. But it's trying to give something back as well to the area that we are. Achilles obviously based in Chantry and that. There was some teams around and that doing it, but Achilles hadn't done it for a number of years because the chap who used to run the youth system, basically took it all away to someone else. So
it's just because if you look at Achilles' history, they've been around for a while. Just a few little facts. The club was established in 1937, which they merged with St Clement's United and St Clement's Institute. I know St Clement's used to have football teams and stuff like that, but they were more Sunday sides that I kind of remember. That was more recent. So 1937, they've obviously Achilles have been around for a long time, and they are one of those clubs that always been up there with Cranes, with Henley, and it has been a bit of a kind of it has been a bit of a shock, but if you kind of looking more in depth into it, it's kind of not a shock, if you know what I mean. Because I did have obviously we had Dean on a couple of weeks ago and we was having a chat and stuff like that. And a lot of clubs are finding this now, that how can I put this delicately? The older players obviously are starting to come to the end of their playing time, and sometimes they will, they don't feel that they can play at that level. But a lot of it is down to families, obviously when you're younger and if you haven't got a wife and kids at home and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to play Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays or whenever. So obviously the older players are now starting to not play as much. And I don't know if that's kind of what's happened there with Achilles.
It has. To be honest, we had a team, and all good players. You look at the players that have kind of retired now. So you've got your Dave Grimwoods, your Matty Rylands, Laser, Sean Bell, Ricky Deasy, Joey Revel. These are, I could carry on for ages. Sean Chapler's the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
All good players, all won big trophies. But it gets to that stage where, unfortunately, and sometimes that's just your body saying you can't do it no more. You want to in your head, but you just physically can't.
I think especially now because And so I've spoken to many people about it. Obviously, with the youth players and stuff like that, a lot of them now are starting to play SIL because of travelling.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't want to travel that far. A lot of people don't want to travel that far midweek and stuff like that. So a lot of the youth are now starting to play SIL or using it as that bridge, if you know what I mean. So they'll play under 18s, under 19s, or whatever, and they'll go and play a couple of years senior football or whatever in the SIL, and then go up to furlough none. So some of the older players, and it's no disrespect to the older players, they're going to feel it. They're going to notice it.
Yeah.
But this is the reason why I think now, obviously, Achilles have jumped on it, and it's like we've got to start having youth now. And I hope a lot of the other SIL clubs kind of start putting more of their youth in now. And I know a lot of them do.
Yeah.
But no, it's good to see. As I say, a lot of people that I've spoken to, very much praise the youth section that you actually have over there. So hopefully that will start pulling through. And as I say, you're probably looking at about 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, the team that I manage, coach, is the oldest team at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, they're all in their first year of high school.
Yeah.
This year, well, this season. So yeah, it will be a little while. But the quality of some of the lads in like my team, and especially the under 11s.
Yeah.
Oh, if and when football starts again, and you get a chance, if you're in and around Copdock, go watch either themselves. You know, my team's good, but the under 11s, little one-touch triangle football is crazy for kids their age, and you're just like, wow.
I think it's, as I say, you'll hear if you, as I say, you listen to my shows and stuff like that, or if I'm on anyone else's, or what I bang on about the youth so much, it's unbelievable. But I do honestly think it's, if you can start teaching them right now, like those little triangles, the 1-2 touch football, the simple football, none of these flicks, tricks, and 30-yard shots and stuff like that, I think is the best way to go, because it's even the same as that you don't have to be a player that has to be on the ball all the time. As long as when they're on the ball, they're comfortable and they know what they're doing. You know, a lot of defenders don't get, kids, when they watch football, they want all the hype, don't they? They want the look at me sort of. Yeah. They're the type of players that they look at. They don't. What was it? I think it was Jamie Carragher. They turned around and said, no one wants to grow up to be a Gary Neville.
Yeah.
You know?
They all want to be Ronaldo or Messi.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. If we
could start teaching them that actually being a Gary Neville, being a Rio Ferdinand, being that's just a personal opinion about Harry Maguire. But being a defender that does the dirty stuff and does the simple stuff is quite important, especially in today's game.
Yeah.
If we can teach them that early, that's great. And I think I will start eventually coming along and watching more of the younger players coming through, because I do enjoy it. I do enjoy watching a game of football, not people doing flicks and tricks all the time. If I wanted to watch that, I'd watch futsal. Yeah. But yeah, I have that, especially as a massive youth section in Ipswich, which is great.
Yeah.
And as I say, yourselves are now starting to get involved with that. Obviously, IVR been doing it for years. Hopefully some of the other clubs will start drawing into it and stuff like that, and it will then obviously help yourselves out.
Yeah, it would be good. With regards to the youth, the biggest problem we've got is finding enough pitches around. Obviously we were quite lucky. We're at Copdock now, whereas before we were spread over 4-5 different locations. But it's now got to the stage where I've now got to start looking for next season for an 11-side pitch somewhere that isn't going to charge the earth, because at the end of the day, it's still youth football. You can't be paying the same prices that adults do, because it's pretty much funded by the parents and stuff like that. So it is continually looking on where we can go, what we can do, and stuff like that. Again, we were quite lucky with the area we've got at Copdock. It's gone down really well, especially with the locals and the cricket club and stuff like that. So yeah.
Is it whereabouts is it? Is it Ipswich Cricket Club? You're up, or
So
is it?
do you know where Tesco's Copdock is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just literally down from there in Copdock Village, the old London Road.
Oh, so the cricket club is Copdock and Old Ipswichian, I
That's the one.
believe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
because you've got because the parish council own obviously the pitch because there's
Yes.
actually 11-a-side pitch there.
There isn't any more. It's now
I know.
9-a-side and a 7-a-side.
Because I this is obviously when I was managing IVR, I was trying to
Mhm.
find somewhere because this is the other problem, which we go back into obviously the senior side of it, and
Mm.
um, a lot of clubs find it a problem with pitches and having a pitch that they can call their own.
Yeah.
And it was one of the reasons why, unfortunately, I came away from IVR, and I think a lot of the reason why IVR senior side went the way that it did wasn't because it's not a bad club. It's just I don't think people wanted to go and play up at Gainsborough Sports Centre.
No.
I don't mind doing it on a Sunday because that's what Sundays are about.
Yeah.
But for a Saturday to not have anywhere to call their own or a clubhouse or anything like that, there wasn't a draw there.
Yeah.
So obviously I went out and went looking and spoke to the parish council there, and they turned around and said, no, we've been told not to use it as an 11-a-side pitch anymore. And I was thinking, you know what? You could make so much money out of this, so much money, because they built a new clubhouse and everything, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, just. But no, if they can accommodate, is that associated with the cricket club?
So we done it through the parish council. We had meetings set up with them, and you know, going through things and stuff
Mm.
like that. We're very lucky to get a grant, and then we done Lee Grim set up a GoFundMe page and stuff like that. So that,
Yeah.
to get the pitch to where we kind of wanted it to be, yeah, we spent thousands on it, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Obviously, you needed new goals because we were starting everything from scratch. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's a lot of hard work by the likes of Lee, Dave, Dave's Mrs. Kate, Keith, and people like that. Like I say, the Grimwood family, that we've managed to get it to where we have.
See, it is such a show because obviously where the first team plays, obviously at Paul's Social Club, you've got the room for that one pitch.
Yeah.
So I've only been there a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've got a little bit of space behind the dugouts, but it's not great, is it?
No. Yeah.
Is there not been a chance to have a word with like St. Joseph's or anything like that to see if you could work something out of maybe having the youth there, or maybe you got Chantry High School as well, just to try and bring it closer to the club?
With Chantry, they've obviously already got teams playing up there, so and they've been there for years, so that's a no-go. With regards to St. Joe's, they actually during the week use the Bulls pitch for their academy.
Right.
Yeah. So, So I don't. That may be something that we can explore. And to be honest, I think Dave may have already had potentially initial conversations with them. But again, it's just hard to do anything at the moment with regards to that. People are like, you can't put anything in place because you don't know exactly what's happening.
Because this brings me into the other, because I've obviously a couple of like managers and club members that have come on and asked them what their kind of their things are for the future, and kind of their ideas of the future, what they want to do. Is that something that obviously with Paul's being where it is, would Achilles ever look at obviously making that next step up? Obviously being the established side that they are, would they look at going and making that next step up, or would they have to come away from Paul's to be able to do that?
The only way you do it is by moving away from Paul's. I mean, we spoke about this 10 years ago, and it comes up, every few years but it's the cost of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we were to make that next up, technically we'd have to go pitch share with someone. Well, then that's
Yeah.
not your home.
No.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You'd be like blooming Wimbledon were for bloody years, and it's not yours. But again, you can't have the stuff you need up at balls just because of you got the housing development behind you. St Joe's obviously to the other side, so there's just not the room. So
Yeah.
plus it's the costings, the costs of making that step up, not only for the facilities,
Yeah.
but then you've got to start paying your players, other bits and pieces
Yeah.
like that, and it costs enough to run two teams at the level we do. And, we are quite lucky in that respect with sponsors and everything else. But, it just gets tougher and tougher each year.
Yeah, because I've always looked at it, and I've looked, I look over past histories and stuff like that, and you look at the SIL and how it's developed through the years and stuff like that, and you look at the likes of, a lot of the furlough none sides used to be in the SIL. Obviously, Witten being one of the recent sides being in the SIL that have
gone
up.
Well.
Have gone up and gone into the furlough none, and it does seem to be the problem of where the pitches are, because the only pitch that I've been to in the SIL that you could look at and go, do you know what, they could probably go up to the furlough none, is Leyton St Margaret's.
Yeah,
because they've got half of it there already. They've already got the floodlights. They've already got, the clubhouse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It seems like I don't know if it ever got, and this is the thing, because obviously I haven't been involved with the SIL that long. I've only been involved with it for the last, I'd say, 8-9 years, maybe. Was Leyton St Margaret's ever a side that was pushing to do that, or I don't know, because it seems like they looked like they were going to get there and then didn't.
They were at one point. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure kind of what happened and stuff like that. I think a number of years ago they were trying to push that way, from what I remember. But again, it's finance and everything like that. It's the same for any club, isn't it?
Because it's got to be that ambition to be able to play at the highest level. To get a club to the highest level. When you start a club, you must have that ambition to sit there and turn around and go, right, okay, we want to be here. We want to be playing at this level at the end of it, and then we can go, do you know what? We've achieved it. We've done what we've wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because you look at the likes of yourselves, Cranes and Henley and stuff like that. They're clubs that are continuously producing good players, are continuously winning titles and stuff like that, but just not made that next step. And I think
it's also about having people wanting to help to do that, though. Not necessarily the managers and players and that. It's people joining the committee and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You got to have a good band of people who want to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got that at Achilles, but it's literally predominantly 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to make that next step up. You're going to need, a few more than that, shall we say?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, it's just difficult. I think, would we have liked to have gone that way? Yeah, but I just can't ever see it happening, to be honest with you.
And it's such a shame, because I think probably for a while, I think Witten are probably going to be the last side for a while to do that. I know recently, but it's once again, it's financially, once people get the injection of money. You look at Coggeshall. I'm not being funny. I played Coggeshall when they used to play Border League.
Yeah.
But once again, it's that injection of money. Someone's gone in and just pumped loads of money into it.
Yeah.
And obviously moved that team up that way. It'd be nice to see one of our SIL sides push up and go up through, not because they've had that massive injection of money, but because they deserve to be there. Do you know what I mean? That is technically the next, when you win that league, that is your option. I don't know if you have to win it a certain amount of times before they ask you to move up, but If you
I
go by
believe you got to have all your
the
facilities and
certain
everything in
facilities,
place
yeah,
before. You do get a little bit of time if they're not quite there, but
yeah,
majority are, to then make that step up.
yeah. It would be interesting if there is anyone that's listening that knows that sort of side of it. That would be interesting to know what you actually have to do to push up to that next level.
Mhm.
I know you have to have like a certain amount of seats, and I know you have to have certain things put in place and certain types of floodlights and stuff like that. But it would be interesting if anyone does know, let us know. It'd be nice. Um, it's yeah. One thing I will tell myself, I wish you all the best there, mate. To be honest, because
Cheers.
obviously Achilles is, it's a big club. It's an established club. I was saying the other day, it's the same with Cranes. I remember on a
Mhm.
Saturday morning before when the days of when I used to have the whole of Saturdays off. I used to have to work in the mornings before I went to football. And you used to see people walk around with Achilles and Cranes tracksuits on, and they've always
Yeah.
been a big club. And as I say, it has been a bit of a shame how it's gone. So the last couple of seasons, but I'm sure you'll, from
Yeah,
what we've
well,
spoken about, I'm sure that you'll turn that around.
hopefully that is the plan. Yeah, we'll just basically see what happens if and when we can start playing again, and just take it from there. Really.
So have you got any? Not giving too much away. Have you got like any plans that you want yourself? Like when I first went into Ransom's reserves, I kind of knew what I wanted out of my team and knew what my team could do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I knew where I wanted to get to. I achieved where I wanted to get to. Is there any things that you want? Do are you like, right, I'm going to come in and we're going to just win everything? Or are you like, right, okay, this is what I want to do now, and then year after this, year after that?
Let's be honest. I think if anyone takes over a managerial job, the plan is to go in. You want to win everything.
Yeah.
It may not happen, but you think, well, yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, it depends on a lot of things. You need a bit of luck at times.
Yeah.
I'll be 100% honest, and people probably laugh at this, but I was speaking with Sean, and the one thing we'd like to do is
Mm.
the Senior Cup again. The
Yeah.
thing is, Sean, and Sean's going to hate me for saying this, but Sean has never ever played at Portman Road. Bearing in mind the teams he's played for locally and the levels he's played at, he's
Mm.
never played at Portman Road,
Mm.
and that's the one thing he wants to do. He said,
Yeah.
he go, even if I can get there as part of the management team, whatever,
Yeah.
he said, then I've done it. Now, people will probably hear this and go, yeah, right. But you never know.
You don't. And I'll be honest with you. If you look at the last few senior cups over the years, it's been SOL sides that have been getting there.
Oh, yeah, we've been there twice. Won it twice.
You know,
Just throw that
I missed out. I was so close, so close. I missed out when I was at Wanderers. I was playing golf for Wanderers reserves,
in. Hmm.
and our first team goalkeeper got injured, and I'm like, "Oh, this is my chance." Come on, Alex. I was training hard. We were doing like, we had practice games. We had practice games against Colchester United under 18s and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I got myself fit and everything like that. And then they brought another goalkeeper in.
Oh,
And I was like, what? I was like, literally so close. I thought this might have, and I'd have been happy even just to sit on the bench, but even that didn't happen.
yeah.
But yeah, I know I'd love to, because to be honest, I've never really had it when I was at when I was still in Essex and London and stuff like that. It's kind of weird because I was only ever playing Sundays, so I never really had that excitement about playing at a proper stadium. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Senior Cup has been quite a new thing to me when I came down here. So, but I can see what the draw is, because I've been to see a couple of Senior Cup games, and
Yeah.
it's I know it's
Honestly,
Ipswich,
mate,
but
when we got
it'd be
there,
nice.
when Andy was doing it and me and Trev were helping him, and we got there just the whole day. But when we got there, and we were lucky enough to draw the home dressing room,
Yeah,
So you go in there and you're like, whoa, this is just different. And even walking out onto the pitch, there was no fans in there, and that, you're just walking around chatting
Yeah,
to each other. That I reckon I must have took 100 photos, and
yeah.
I'm just like, whoa.
It is such. I think it'd be such a great experience, and this is the reason. If there is any young players that are obviously listening at the moment, this is what SIL is all about as well. You're having those moments where you go from playing on pitches which you probably shouldn't be playing on
Yeah.
to at the end of the season playing on a pitch that unless you make it, you're never going to play on again, or unless
No.
you stay with a side and very successful and end up playing there every year. But
Yeah.
it's such an experience for people, and I think now because of the quality of football that the senior level is bringing out, I call all young players that think that they've got it. This is where they need to start playing. You need to start playing at this level because it's such a great experience. It really is. So obviously missed out as a player. I'd love to get there as a manager. If I get another managerial position, I don't know, or even part of a managerial team would be nice.
Yeah.
Because you do have obviously the Suffolk Reserve Cup as well.
Yeah.
Which once again, the same experience. Probably a little bit more really, because a lot of reserve, when you go and play reserve, sometimes you do end up playing on some crappy pitches because you don't always play on the senior pitches.
Yeah.
So, but no. Right, as I say, spoke to you during the week about your 1 to 11. Well, actually, no, I kind of sprung it on you.
I thought you said I could have a 1 to 33. I'm sure that's what it said in the message, mate. Let me just find that.
Yeah. I'll check back on mine. I'm sure I said 1 to 11. I did turn around and say, as I say, when I done mine, I'd done a few honourable mentions as well. And I said at the beginning of the show, it is difficult because you don't want to upset people. You don't want to, put someone in there and then you'll go, no, he and him. And so, right. So I will say, people do not get upset. I did spring this on him like literally a couple of days ago. So,
oh God.
Right. So, as always, I will ask, what formation have you gone with?
I'm going for a 4-3-3.
4-3-3. We're going 4-3-3. Right. So, we will start with your goalkeeper.
Right. Now, I'm going to say this. All right. Every position that I was thinking about, I was like that. And I spoke to a couple of my mates and they said, and I was like, goalkeeper was, I could have chosen one of 6. I've got to choose one from 6. All right. So you said honourable mentions. That could go on a while. So obviously, I mean, you look at the keepers we had. We had Fozzie Jack Foster, who's in goal for Cranes at the moment.
Yeah.
Love Fozzie. Sean Chaplin.
Did he have a stint at Wanderers at one point?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I thought he did.
Yeah. So you got Fozzie and Chappers. You had Bonesy as well, Jason Bones.
Yeah.
So there's them. Dick Oak played and even had a couple of games for us.
Yeah.
So again, no one. But I have gone for Danny Crump to play goal. He was with us that season. We won the Senior Cup, and the guy, such the professionalism in him, you could just see that Danny had played at a high level for a lot of time, for a long time. You know what I mean? He come in, I was sitting next to him in the changing rooms, and we used to chat and that. And Daniel were leaving. I'll never forget a conversation we had. He said, "I never thought I'd see the day I ended up playing for Achilles." He go, "I used to hate this place." And I was like, "You're joking?" He was like, "I was like, really?" He went, "Yeah, I do." He go, "But he go, I really enjoyed it." Obviously, he's now gone to play higher again. But yeah, Danny Crump for me in goal. Great shot stopper, talked, could use the ball well. Great goalkeeper.
I think that's one thing you do need from, obviously, being a goalkeeper myself, and I've spoken to a lot of people. A lot of the young goalkeepers these days kind of think that all you need to do is kind of stand there in between the sticks and make a few saves and stuff like that. It's really not like that. You could have a goalkeeper that is not a great shot stopper, not, or they're not great at commanding in the air and stuff like that. But when they talk to their back four, and talk to their players, can be so crucial because they can see everything.
Oh, mate, Danny was our hero in that semi-final. He obviously saved a penalty in normal time. What was it, extra time? Whatever, from Clark Bruce. Quite funny that is. The story behind that, we were on the way there and he put in the chat, he said, has anyone had a chance to see their penalty take, blah, blah, blah? And we're like, well, it's Clark Bruce.
Yeah.
So what we done, thanks to James and that, we went and watched all the old Henley games that he'd been to. So thanks to James, we kind of worked out Danny did, where Clark was going to put it. That's where he put it 9 times out of 10. So must thank him for that.
Do you know what? That's the only thing is, though, with Bruce Hill, we'll have to admit, though, that's the only time you'll ever figure out where he's going to put it is when he's taking the penalty. Because any other time, it's so difficult to try and figure out where he's going to put it. It's just like, sometimes you just stand and go, yeah, okay. Right. So back for what we were saying, we're going 4 at the back. So if we go with right back.
Right back, for the slightly older generation who will know him, Ricky Deasy. Now, Rick he played for the likes of Stowmarket and stuff like that. He originally was a centre forward, converted into a right back. Well, Rick could play anywhere. But he was one of those blokes on the pitch who would never shirk a tackle. That could be 70-30 in someone else's favour, but he's still trying to make that tackle. His desire to win, but that brought everyone else up. You know what I mean? And his commitment, his talk. Ricky was a leader. The amount of times I've seen him hobbling around on a football pitch and you're like, Rick, you got to come off. I'm not coming off. You've got to come off. You won't be able to walk by the time you're 50, Rick. Well, then I won't be able to walk by the time I'm 50. I'm carrying on. The bloke is an absolute legend.
All right. So we're looking at left back now.
Left back, I've gone for Jerry Revel.
Right.
Again, Jerry Revel could get up and down a football pitch like no one else at the time. He was probably the best left back in the league for a good, in my personal opinion, good 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Again, he was another one. He's not the biggest of lads, but he would never shirk out of a tackle. He had good left foot, but his energy to get back and recover and, cover the centre halves was unbelievable. Great player.
It's the thing. It's I love a right and a left back to play more as fullbacks. So I don't know.
Oh, you used to get that all the time with Ricky and Joey. They'd be overlapping.
Yeah.
That was more Aussie's time when they done like a 4-4-2. They'd be overlapping for fun all day.
Do you know what? And I've always said it, as I say, people that have played against me, people that may have come and watched games that I've managed and stuff like that. The right and left backs that I've always had given them the freedom to make those overlapping runs. But I've always turned around and said to them, you make sure you get back. And usually 90% of the time, the right and left back that I've had have been fit enough to be able to do it. Obviously the 2 that I had last season, I had Bradley Howard and Kieran Leggett, and those 2 are literally like a couple of Duracell batteries because they just keep on running and running and running. But you do have to sometimes be a little bit careful on that, because then you've got to have a midfielder in there that's not as attacking.
Yeah.
Because then obviously they can drop back in and it ends up being a 3 at the back. It's difficult, but I was lucky I got away with it because of the players that I was playing with understood what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why a lot of the older players, a lot of the maturer players kind of understand that. So if they've still got the fitness and they're still able to do it, it's great. Sometimes the younger lot don't they've got the energy, they've got I can get up there, but then they'll lose the ball, head goes down and don't get back, and then you're out of shape. So your centre backs, who are you going for?
Now this was ridiculously hard. The centre backs that we've had. So you've got Chris Laser.
Yeah.
Came in. He was skipper. Absolute wand of a left foot. Don't think I ever saw Laser miss a header. And he had that nasty streak in him as a centre half. You got him. You've got another mention goes out to Brent Richards.
Yeah.
He probably could have carried on playing until he got injured. And that was just a freak accident at football training. Literally foot rolled over the ball and he'd done his ligaments. But Brent, he must have had 10 offers from higher clubs every season to go. But Brent was one of those ones who just wanted to play with his mates, enjoy football and enjoy the social side afterwards.
Yeah.
Those two. But the two I've gone for is Matty Ryland on the left. Yeah. Class, played at, he was at Leiston, he was at Stowmarket. He spent a bit of time at Grunsborough when they were winning everything. He's just so calm on the ball. He's doing cross turns on the edge of your box, and as a manager, your heart's in your mouth. And I'm like, Matty. I used to beg Matty. I said, Matty, sometimes just kick out of play. He went, King, I'll never. He go, I will never ever kick that out of play. He said, we will play football, and I'm like, sometimes, Matty, just kick it out, please.
Please. I don't really want to have a heart attack on the side of the pitch. Can you just get rid of it, please?
But Matty was one of those. He's so calm, but again, he's someone who read the game so well.
Yeah.
And again, because he played that higher level, the quality just shone through. So you got him, and I've got to put him in because he's my assistant. It's Sean. If I don't, he'll probably smack me one. So yeah, Belly. So it'd be Matty Ryland and Belly at the back. Obviously, I spoke about Belly and the levels that he's played. Belly was one of the best centre halves around this way for a number of years, in my personal opinion. So yeah, that would be, I think, is quite a strong back five.
So you're three in the middle.
So the player one Holden. Now it was a toss up between a few. So again, you had the likes of Andy Crump. He had season with us. Great footballer, so calm. Again, another one that just wanted to play football. He used to play that role for us, but there's no way on earth I could leave this player out, and that's Kieran Donovan. Absolute legend. And Kieran's one of those ones, if you speak to anyone in local football who's played senior league for a number of years and ask about KD, I don't think anyone's got a bad word to say about KD. Absolute gentleman off the pitch.
Yeah.
On the pitch, he'd do what he need to. But yeah, KD is the holder for me.
So I've had one of those players that's like that. Chris Howlett.
Yeah.
He used to play for Wickham Market, played for IVR for one stint when they first changed over from Woodbridge Athletic. Then he went to Wickham Market, and then I managed to get him back over to IVR, and he played with me for the last couple of seasons. He's one of those ones that, same again, on the pitch, he'll do the dirty work. And as I said, he was my general. You'd have him in there to do the dirty work, not to look pretty or anything like that. And then, as I say, off the pitch, just an amazing bloke. And you do find it's weird. Soon as players step over that line, out of that change room, they step over that line, they become a different person.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting to see. And I've noticed it's normally people that play centre back and midfield.
Yeah. Definitely.
So you've got him as your holding.
Yeah, and then two in front now. This is again where it got really difficult. So you got the likes of, going back. I mean, I only managed Aussie Lee Osborne a
Yeah,
few times in the reserves towards the end of his career, but again, Aussie was an absolute beast.
yeah.
He could do anything. Brave. I don't think I ever see Aussie miss a penalty. In the 20 years that I've known Aussie, I don't think I've ever seen him miss a penalty.
Anyhow.
And he's still involved with the club.
Mm.
If you want Aussie to come along and help on a match day, he will.
Yeah,
He'll do a bit of training. He'll do whatever. He's got the club at heart.
proper
So
clubman.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got the likes of him, Sean Hanley. Everyone knows about Sean.
Mm.
Absolute bag of energy, great player. Ivan as well. Now this is going to probably surprise people, but Ivan hasn't made my team, and I can't believe it myself. If I'm
Was
being
it Ivan
honest,
Buxton?
yeah,
What?
that's surprised you, hasn't it?
They has a little bit, But I was to say, I'm with Ivan. I knew him before
Mm.
when Kitcheners of old. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? When obviously I knew Ivan when we played at Kitcheners reserves together, and then he obviously had that stint where Kitchener's first team then folded, and then the reserves became the first team, and then he's stayed and played with the first team. And I know he's more kind of known for playing for Kitchener's.
Yeah.
But I said, because I don't think he's not really been playing at that level, senior level, for that long, though, is he? I don't know.
Well,
As I say,
I think he had
I only ever knew him playing Sundays.
3 seasons at Achilles, and he was at Hawley before that, and obviously he's now at Claydon.
Mm.
Now again, Ivan is absolutely class.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'll say for Ivan as well is he's blooming loyal. The amount of
Yeah.
times he could have
Oh,
left
yeah.
us, and especially when we were in the shit, excuse the language, but
Yeah.
he didn't.
No.
Ivan's one of those lads, and this was one of the hardest decisions of not putting Ivan in. But
Yeah.
two I've gone for is Dave Grimwood.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best footballers in the local area that
Yeah.
has been for a while, and Connor Field, who's obviously Fieldy now at Wanderers.
Yeah.
So main thing about Connor is he does like to drink, and that a couple of nights out with Connor is different, shall we say?
But that's the thing. That's the social part of it,
Yeah.
and I think this is the reason why I think people have found it more difficult. Obviously, this season more than anything, because we still haven't been able to do the social side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very big on that. I was very big on it the last couple of seasons. I'd have barbecues at mine. I'd have all the players around mine, and not being able to do that, it didn't feel the same this season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of clubs do miss that, because it's the laugh, it's the banter, it's the having the drinks at the weekend after games, and especially when you won, and especially when you have to take a trip all the way over to Bury and then lose 2-1 against Sporting and then have to come all the way back again.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a drink at the end of it. But no, it's the social side of it, unfortunately, is a bit of a bit pants at the moment. But as I say, we won't keep going on about that. Right. So that's your midfield three.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing, are you playing? How am I going to put this? Are you playing a false nine, or are you playing?
Nah, proper number
straight
9,
three.
mate. Yeah, straight 3.
Straight 3. Right.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So if we start off on the right is Gav Van Owen.
Yep.
Obviously at Hadley now. Gav, absolute magician, cutting in on that left foot. And 20 goals a season every season from Gav.
Yeah.
Without a question of a doubt. As long as he's played in the right position, 20 goals a season, regardless. So him on the right. On the left, I've gone Lee Grimwood.
Yep.
Obviously, Lee doesn't stop running. As a defender, that's your worst bloody nightmare, because he doesn't stop. You just like, you want to kick him just to stop him, just so you can get a breather. And he's got that bit about him as well. So if you want to play football, brilliant, he's up for it.
Yeah.
If you have, if that get physical and that, well, he doesn't worry about that either. He's used to getting kicked. He's been getting kicked since the age of 16.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the next one was blooming hard, really, really hard.
So this is your main striker.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a toss up between three. So Raggy was in now.
Right.
And obviously Ray suffered with injuries and that, but I still rate Raggy with the right service and that. He can still get you goals. He's obviously had to change his game since he had the knee injury.
Do you know what? With Raggy, I've say once again, played with him Kitcheners and seen how he's gone. Obviously, he was at Hawley for quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's now at Claydon.
Yeah.
He's one of those players that I would honestly sit there and turn around and say he could have gone far if it weren't for the injuries.
Yeah. If he didn't, he literally left Hawley, come over to Achilles, and I think that was literally the last friendly before the season started. And his knee went. And
he's
and I'll be honest, Luke was the manager at the time, and we tried to get Raggy for a good couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And you eventually get him, and then that happened. You just think, But again, he was another one. He come back. He had to change his game because Raggy used to be real pace. He still got a turn of pace, but he used to be real quick. And he had to change his game slightly. But, he's done that. He's picked up a few knocks here and there. But again, he's another one who is quality if you give him the service.
Yeah. The touch he had as well. The unbelievable first touch. As I say, I can only go by Sundays, but we used to have, decent players on a Sunday. Even at reserve level, we had decent players.
Yeah.
We had players that could quite easily go into any senior first thing. So we had Raggy, we had Lewis Mott, we had Ivan playing for us as well. Ian, who doesn't play Saturdays, that could quite easily play Saturdays, which is Ivan's brother. Phil used to play at the back. Lewis Parsley, who obviously he's been at Achilles a couple of times.
He sponsors us as well now.
Sponsors you as well now. So he, we had all these players, but as I say, you could see with Raggy and Ivan and Motty, I think were the three that you could see that can play at a decent level. And it is a shame because there is a lot of players out there. There's a lot of players out there that I've seen that probably could play at that real high level, but haven't. It's good for us that go and watch SIL games, but unfortunate for them that they haven't progressed further.
Yeah. The other choices I obviously had was Andy Coote.
Yeah.
Andy was an absolute goal scoring machine. Obviously had a few years off football for various reasons, and then come back. But obviously, I only managed Andy towards the later end of his career. I've known Andy for years. But obviously, the one I had to go for, and I think that's quite obvious, is Liam Hilliard.
Yeah,
is the number 9.
Yeah.
So
that's a strong squad. That is a strong squad. I'm not being funny.
Honestly, I could have added another 8 or 9 names.
But this is the thing. It's this is the reason why I ask people this question, because it's a great talking topic. It gets your mind going on what you've done in the past, what you're doing now, and stuff like that. And it's mine was a little bit difficult because obviously I've only been managing the last couple of seasons, so I haven't really been involved with SIL that much. But I do find it so interesting.
Yeah.
Especially now because there's so many players that have got that quality. And you go to watch SIL games now, especially at senior level, even lower leagues, and the quality of football that you get, it shocks you sometimes. It does shock you. When I went and watched Wanderers against Bournemouth, for I would say 45, 50, 60 minutes, you'd think they played in the same league.
Yeah.
You really would. And you get that with when you get to the Suffolk Senior Cup and stuff like that. You know, the quality is, and it's so great. It's so good to see and so good to watch. And as well, I've noticed that there's a lot more players that are older that are still playing.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. And they can still play at that level.
Yeah. Well, talking about players, so when I was doing the reserves with Alfie Cook, we had Richie Barber play for us. Richie Barber's last game for us was when he was 50.
Yeah.
Again,
well, shouldn't it be?
Yeah, he'd stayed injury free, and again, Richie was he was playing centre half for us then, but he used to be a centre forward back in the day, and a proper goal scorer. But his last game, I think after he left us, he actually went and dropped down a couple more leagues and played for another season or two. So I think he actually stopped playing when he was he's still playing vets football, obviously, but when he was 51, 52 maybe.
It's brilliant. Why not? Why not? If you at the end of the day, if your body can still do it and your mind's still there to do it, then do it.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately with myself, my mind's still there to do it, but my body ain't.
Mate, I've been like that since I was about 25.
Well, as I say, I think the last time I played in goal in a competitive game was against, who was it against? Codnam.
Right, okay, yeah.
And we went over there, and I think that was, I don't know if that was for IVR or Ransoms, but I know it was right at the beginning of the season. It might have been Ransoms. We went over there, and goalkeeper didn't turn up.
Yeah.
Well, the goalkeeper was late.
Yeah.
And I was signed on, because you sign yourself on just in case. you always just sign yourself on just in case. So I signed myself on, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to go and goal?" And I was like, "No, not really." So I literally have done no training. I've eaten way too much. I've got knees of a 60-year-old. I really don't want to go and goal. So yeah, I had to, because we wouldn't have had enough players anyway. So yeah, I went in goal. I think we got hammered quite badly.
Yeah.
Even before our goalkeeper turned up. I think I conceded about 2 or 3 because my reactions were not great.
Not like they used to be.
No, do you know what? I still sit there and turn around and say, for what I achieved and the level that I played at, I was quite realistic and knew that I weren't really going to go any higher.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it when I did. I got to play at some pretty decent grounds. I got played at Galston, I think, which is quite a decent ground to play at. I played at Lowestoft. I've gone played at Yarmouth and Hadley, and I've played around at a lot of the big. I feel good to be, well, not part of, but when Stowmarket end up doing what they're doing, I can tell, well, I play for them one day.
Yeah.
Which is quite an achievement. Probably not at the time, but because they weren't at where they are now. But no, it's. I think that's what people got to kind of look at the moment, and with football not being about and stuff like that, it is quite difficult to kind of see the bright side of football at the moment.
Yeah.
But it is there. And as I say, it's the reason why I do this, the reason why I get people like yourselves to come on and talk about their clubs and talk about their players that they've played with, and and see the better side of it as well. I think your 11 would definitely have beaten mine.
Well, you never know. You never know.
I don't know. So with some of the names in there, I think it'd have been difficult. It's a shame, really, because it's like you wish you could do like a virtual. I might do that actually. I might do it on FIFA. Get people's 1 to 11s. If I've got a bit of time, put them all on FIFA and like play each other and see how it turns out. Do a little league or something. I've got so much work. Put so much work on my plate now. Right. Thank you for coming on, mate.
No
It's
worries,
been an
mate.
absolute pleasure. I think people won't be too upset with the 1 to 11 that you've done, especially with the honourable mentions that you've put in.
Mate, I'm still waiting for the messages.
But that'd be good, because if you get all the 1 to 11 and the other people that have noticed about it, I know how many people have been listening. So it's good. It's a good number. But no, thank you for coming on. All the best for, as I say, either if it's the rest of this season or the upcoming season. Obviously, I know me and you have spoken, know kind of what your plans are and stuff like that, and I think you'll definitely be able to get Achilles back to where they deserve to be. But as I say, the best of luck for you, mate, and hopefully we get some football back soon, so you can start showing people that Achilles are not to be messed about with anymore.
Yeah, well, like I say, we're in the hands of Boris on that one, aren't we, mate? So
yeah, well, as I say, I go on every day and have a look and see what they turn around and say, and what messages have been put out. They haven't put one out for a while. I usually try and let people know on a Friday, but I had a look tonight and there wasn't anything out there. So, but yeah, we will have to wait and see.
Quiet.
But what I'll do is I'll try, as I say, there's things I've got in the pipeline to do for game days and stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'm going to try and, once football started up again, I'll try and pop down and watch a game, and then we can have a chat and a drink afterwards.
Yes, mate.
All right, mate.
Yes, mate.
Thank you for coming on, bud. And as I say, all the best.
All right. Cheers, mate.
All right. Cheers, mate. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. As I say, thank you to Jamie for coming on. Obviously, giving his 1 to 11 there. I hope all those players do come on and have a listen. That'd be nice. It'd be nice to get their reaction as well. Let me know what they think and stuff like that. As I say, this will be going out on Podbean pretty much straight after. It takes a couple of minutes to do, but it'll be straight out on there. Also, we'll be putting that out onto Spotify as well. The YouTube channel, as I say, you have to bear with me, guys. It's been quite difficult because I've been trying little bits and pieces and stuff like that to see if it works. So with the YouTube channel, it is a bit of a trial and error at the moment. But when the videos do come up, as long as you go on there, obviously subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then you'll know when a new video comes up. That's the best I can do. I'm not going to keep turning around and saying I'm going to bring a video out this day or this day. It's, that's not fair on yourselves if I keep promising you to do it and I don't get to do it. But I am trying my best to say this is the main thing, the podcast that I'm doing, trying to get people on, obviously, from their clubs. It doesn't have to be managers. It can be players. It can be chairmans. It can be people on the board. It could be supporters. Anyone that wants to come on and talk about their club, I'm more than happy to. As I say, any managers and players, obviously, will be doing your 1 to 11s, which I think is quite interesting. So if you want to pop up and do that, just let me know. But yeah, if there's any comments on the show that you want to let me know about, give me a shout. As I say, all the businesses that I've mentioned tonight as well, will be the links, and that will be put up onto the YouTube. Obviously, I will put some stuff up on Twitter, so keep an eye out for that, and my Facebook as well. Starting to use TikTok a little bit now as well, so I might do a few little videos, just little clips and stuff like that. So if you're on TikTok, give me a follow on there. And yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the support and everything like that. Just a quick mention, obviously, about a Ko-fi account that I have as well. Any donations or anything like that is quite welcome. I'm not asking for a lot. As I keep saying every week, every little helps. Just got to go Upper Claydon. Yes, Barney. Sorry, mate. I didn't see that you'd put that before. I do apologise, mate. Yeah, if there's any with the Ko-fi account, there's any donations at all, it's, I'm not sitting here turning around and saying that I want thousands of pounds, because I honestly don't. Anything that you can contribute will be amazing. As I say, thank you to Brian Vella, who's already contributed already. That was amazing of you as well. Yes, Barney, as I say, once the youth football starts again, hopefully that'll be up and running, because they'll probably try and push that out first before they do the senior one. But as I say, once again, we've got to wait for fee. I will try and get along to see some of the youth playing. We've already spoke that I'd look to do possibly doing a feature with some of the youth. Obviously, I've got to speak to the clubs. I've got to make sure I get the right consent and stuff like that before I do any features like that. But we've spoke about that, so we may do a youth feature for the YouTube channel. So once again, if anyone wants to get involved with that, let me know. But yeah, say Kofi account, anything on there, any contribution would be lovely. It all helps. It all helps, obviously, with running with the podcast. Obviously, there was a few things that I want to be able to do when we start getting up and running again. When I go along to games, I'm going to be looking to do interviews at games straight after the game. Maybe possibly some live podcasts from games. But that's all whether I'm able to get the stuff that I require for it. But yeah, apart from that, I wish everyone a good weekend. Don't drink too much. Nah, go on. You can drink as much as you want. Have a good weekend, and I will see you next Friday.